Hello, all of you restaurant full service operators. Today's video is for you. It's about a trend that we're seeing going in the wrong direction, and I want to address it quickly coming up here. My name is Ryan Gromfin. I'm an author, speaker, chef, restaurateur, founder of The Restaurant Boss and clickbacon.com. Also, like I mentioned, author of Make It Happen. Go ahead and grab a free copy at our website. We'll ship that out to you. Just pay a couple of dollars in shipping, but the book is completely free at therestaurantboss.com. Today's October 16th of 2024. I'm coming to you live from the intergalactic world headquarters here at the home office in Austin, Texas. So I just read an article, and I've noticed this. I've talked to my clients about this a lot for you full service operators, but I just read an article that had some data to back this up. And what it's related to is the speed of service that the industry as a whole is experiencing in the full service sector. Full service meaning server comes to the table, takes your order, etc., not counter service. So this article is actually focused on Darden, which is Longhorn Steakhouse, and most famously Olive Garden and Yard House and a few other brands. But basically the CEO said, we are seeing a trend in our restaurants and the industry in general that speed of service is getting slower and customers' expectations for speed of service is getting faster. So the disconnect is getting bigger. So they are putting an initiative in place to look at every single touch point and every single thing that affects speed of service across all of their brands and to make improvements in that. There might be some introductions of technology. There might just be some changes to processes and systems, but it's becoming a very big focus of theirs as an initiative moving into 2025. And I think it should be an initiative of yours. Now, the reason I bring this up is I want to share with you a technique that I've been teaching for years to my clients about one way to address speed of service. The challenge with speed of service is if I'm coming to your restaurant, maybe with my family, and I'm not really in a hurry and I'm just wanting to relax, and maybe my wife and I have a cocktail or a glass of wine, we get an appetizer, we get an entree, maybe some dessert, but we have nowhere to go and we're not in a hurry, I don't want you to rush me through my meal. On the other hand, if maybe we've had a busy day and kind of adrenaline is up, or maybe we have something we have to do, like we're getting to a friend's house, or we're getting to a birthday party, or we're going to see a movie, or we're just tired, I don't want you to give me that nice, relaxed, slow service, because then I'm in a hurry. I'm gonna have an issue with that. So what this comes down to is managing your guests' expectations. There's an expression that I use, which is you have to exceed your guests' expectations. You must exceed your guests' expectations. You can't meet a guest's expectations. Meeting is average. The least used star on review sites is a 3. We see a lot more 4s and 5s and a lot more 1s and 2s. But 3 is the least used star because a 3 is average. When was the last time you went to see a movie or went to a restaurant and went to your friends and said, I want to tell you about this totally average, completely expected, normal experience I just had at a restaurant, right? Never. So we have to exceed our guests' expectations, but we don't have to exceed them by a mile. We have to exceed them by 1%. The challenge with exceeding a guest's expectations is we first have to know what their expectation is. How can we exceed a guest's expectations if we don't know what their expectation is? So while I do entire trainings with clients and live about managing guest expectations, exceeding their expectations, learning what their expectations are, today's focus is about speed of service. So the tip I want to share with you today is you must assess your guest expectations for the speed of the service coming up, especially at lunch. Now, the way that I do this is at the host stand. When someone checks in, I ask a simple question. What brings you folks in today? Now, I know your initial reaction is going to be, hey, Ryan, that's the dumbest question I've ever heard. They're here to eat. I understand that. And you might get some sarcastic remarks, probably from someone like me. If you say, hey, what brings you folks in today? And I say food, to eat dinner, right? But then I'd say, oh, of course, I know. But, are you folks celebrating anything? Are you in a hurry? Do you have somewhere to be? And based on that answer, I like to divide my dining room into two areas. One area is for people who are looking for a slightly more relaxed atmosphere. One area is for people who are in a little more of a hurry. Now, this step is not necessary, but it does help. And the reason it helps is if you have a guest who comes in and says, oh, it's just been a long day, we're tired, we just wanted, just here for dinner, nothing special. Okay, great. But they gave you some hints. It's been a long day, we're tired. Let's get them in the faster section. Or if it's like, date night, the kid's got a babysitter, we got no plans, put them in the slower section. Or date night, kid's got a babysitter, we're going to see a movie after. Hey, what time is that movie? I want to make sure that we get you in and out on time. And then based on that, we can determine where to put them. Now, you pass this information on to the server because if they are celebrating an event, let's let them know. Like, that's great. If they are just there on a date night, like, let's greet them with, hey, folks, so glad you were able to get a sitter, get out of the house, enjoy a date. My name's Ryan. I want to make sure that you guys have an absolutely incredible evening here. Should we get you started with a cocktail? Right? It's a better greeting. But most importantly, we need to control that experience. If they're in a hurry, if they've had a long day and they're in a hurry or they've got a movie to get to, I'm not going to greet the table the same. I'm going to greet the table with, hey, folks, my name's Ryan. I'm here to make sure you have a great experience. I'm going to take care of you the best that I can tonight. There's all these scripts that we use. But point is, I hear you guys have a movie to make in about an hour. That's not going to be a problem, but I do want to get a drink order in. I want to bring your attention to these 3 or 4 items on the menu, and I want to come back with those drinks and get that order in because the kitchen is getting busy, and I want to make sure that you get out of here on time. Could you imagine your guest level of relaxation if that is what was discussed with them? I'd be like, oh, great. But you know what happens most of the time is my wife and I go to a restaurant. We tell them we're in a hurry. Oh, no problem. 45 minutes later, we haven't gotten our entree. We're asking 6 times. Our entree finally shows up. We eat it in 3 minutes, put money on the table, and leave. That's a terrible experience. So again, if I order something that's going to take a long time, maybe make the suggestion, hey, one of my favorite dishes, it's very popular. However, I have noticed that dish takes a little bit longer. Might I suggest this dish instead? Because now we're kind of putting it on them. Again, in the slower section, we take a little more time. The other reason why I love the sections is we don't have to communicate as much. If I'm a manager walking through the restaurant and let's say a guest is seated in the slower section and they had a problem with something and the server says, hey, Ryan, can you go check on table 22? They had a problem with their entrees. Well, now I know I can walk up to that table and maybe buy them some dessert, maybe refire an entree, buy them a glass of champagne to have with their dessert, something, because they're not in a hurry. But if I go to the section for a table that has a movie that they have to catch or they're tired and exhausted and I offer to buy them dessert, that's the last thing they want. The last thing they want is to be in that restaurant longer. So we're going to handle that differently. And we don't need to communicate that because I know what area of the restaurant they sat in. So again, just kind of one suggestion on ways that we can exceed our guest expectation when it comes to speed of service without making a mistake. One of the challenges that I think Darden is going to experience now, you may not think of Olive Garden as a place that you go on a date night or go to celebrate, but a lot of people do. One of the challenges they're going to face is if they speed up service so much, yes, they'll pick up some of those people who remember having slow experiences and they're excited that it's faster, but they might also lose some of those people who are like, I don't want to be in and out in 20 minutes. I want to enjoy my meal a little more. So my number one tip here is find out what your guests' expectations are and then exceed it by 1%. But also do a full audit yourself. Are we moving too slow? Your guests in general want things faster today than they ever have before. I hope you enjoyed this week's video, and I look forward to bringing you another great video just like this. Go ahead and grab a copy of our book at the website. Make it happen, completely free. We just need to we just need a couple dollars to ship that book to you, because we're going to ship you an actual physical book. It's not an ebook. You can also check out our restaurant profit engine called ClickBacon. Go to clickbacon.com. We have a membership that you can learn more about at the Restaurant Boss, so we can help you improve your profits, improve your operations, experience more freedom and joy in your restaurant journey. I hope you have an absolutely amazing day. And remember, systems create freedom, freedom creates value, and value creates scale. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye. Make It Happen is the book I wish I had when I was operating restaurants. Inside are the lessons that took me 10 years to learn and 10 more years of teaching to perfect. I've condensed the most important lessons into this tiny book for building a big restaurant business. I am on a mission to improve restaurants all over the world. Because of that, I want to send you a free copy. Grab yours today at therestaurantboss.com.